Welcome to this UX research call. This is research call number 27, and it is with the Jam UI. This is the kickoff call for the Jam sprint, the research that we're going to be conducting on Jam. We have some very interesting people joining the call. We have Eddie, who has a monkey UI. We have Elena, who's a real human. And we have some very futuristic looking guy over here who calls himself Christoph, no idea. And then we also have Dami as well. So welcome to the call. Final Fantasy. Eddie, I don't know if you want to give a little bit of a background to the project. You've been working on it for a while, so if you want to give a little bit of an introduction to the Jam UI and what it does and what you'd like to achieve with the sprint.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So Jam is a project that started around 2 years ago, a little bit older, I think. And the goal for this project is to create an easy to use UI that is working on top of Join Market, the software behind it. Because up to this point, Join Market was very hard to use with a very new concept behind it. Thinking and with wallets and accounts and mixed depth and other stuff. And nevertheless, it was also just in terminal, and then there was one Qt software, but it was always up to this point pretty hard to use. And yeah, that's when this project started. The goal is easy to use software. And yeah, what I want or what we want to achieve with this research is to really learn, are we on the right path? Is it do we have a good balance between usability and educational part where you just need to figure out what is happening under the hood. So that's also an important thing. And yeah, we are very looking forward to see what we can learn and have great insights.
And also to give some background, we're battle testing the UX research toolkit on this project as well. So Eddie and I had a little bit of back and forth conversations, and we tried to understand what questions are we trying to answer during this research sprint. And then we came to the UX research toolkit and we looked through all of these questions over here. And then Eddie kind of said, like, okay, I think that we're trying to answer this question. So that's kind of how we decided on which research tools to use. And Eddie, I'm not sure if you remember the questions that were the most relevant. I think, what was it? What are the problems our users are facing? I think it might have been this one. And then we come up with moderated usability testing to test out the product on users and to do a user journey map. So we are battle testing the UX research toolkit while we're doing the sprint. So I don't know if anyone has any questions at this point.
No, just it would be, I think in previous Discord conversations, we had mentioned, like, I'm happy to help with a lot of the tasks in the project plan GitHub board, but I don't have edit access to some of these documents. So, whenever on this call we want to talk about how tasks get divided and conquered, then that's one of the questions that I guess I'll have more questions around that time.
Sorry for that. I'm not sure why the GitHub. I'll try to add you in. I think we had that with the core GitHub as well, that I couldn't add you in for some reason. Is this project board showing up for everyone on their screen?
If you're sharing your screen, I don't see it.
Let's see this one here.
But I have it up on.
Now it does.
So we kind of have this project board, which is kind of all of the stuff that's to do, and then in progress, and then in review, and then done. And then Elena said, well, we don't really need to create screening questions. And I definitely agree with her on that, because we're pretty much going to be jumping into the Telegram group and reaching out to people there. And in progress, I think, Elena, you created a graphic here. So Elena did this 2 weeks ago. She created this graphic in here. UX research call for participants. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that. This is really nice. Thank you so much for updating it, creating this, Elena.
Yeah, I was just trying to follow the kind of steps that were done in the Bitcoin Core research plan. This one seems pretty easy. The background text, like the black and white text, is actually the Cypherpunk manifesto, which is all about digital privacy. So I thought it was a cool nod to that. And then depending on how, Eddie, how you want to do the logistics for scheduling calls, like that link can be a Calendly link. It can be it can just be an image, because if it's primarily going to, if you're primarily going to recruit people from the Jam Telegram, then you don't need the hyperlink can just be added right afterwards. So you share the image and then you share. This was more like if you're going to do outreach on Twitter or stuff like that.
Eddie, you know the Jam users better than the rest of us. So how do you think the Telegram group will react, or do you think we should make some changes to this, or what are your thoughts?
Good question. The whole idea is that we don't know each other that good behind the privacy tool. I don't know. I think we will just take that and drop it there, and let's see how they will react. The same. I already previewed our initiative here some weeks ago, just by what is coming up in a call, and people were happy to hear it, but I didn't had names already coming in that wanted to participate, so we will just try it, and we will try to recruit them. A little bit of context.
Yeah. Do you think we should mention that, like, we're going to really respect people's privacy? Maybe mention we don't record the calls or something like this. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Christoph, if you have any thoughts.
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
Cool. I mean, those changes are pretty easy to make. I think the main thing is, like, once people want to sign up for an interview or want to express interest in doing that, like, usually the first place they go is a link that would help them schedule something.
Yeah.
Or if it's more like, if we don't want to go that route, then the thing would be having them, like, send an email or reply to an email. But I think there's a balance between making it really easy for people to sign up and use in terms of, like, signing up for an interview, and making it kind of really open source, or like anonymized, or it's like maybe some people don't want to give their email. Maybe some people just want to sign up for a slot and show up to a Jitsi link. So Eddie, I think your perspective would be really valuable in terms of, like, how do you want to manage those preferences? Because we can, like, this is a volunteer effort. Like, I think it's kind of fun to work around those challenges, but we would need kind of, like, somebody to explicitly say, like, these are the constraints that we're working with, and then we can kind of design a research plan around that.
Yeah, Eddie will probably say something similar, but these are real privacy-focused people, and not the people who just want it to be easy. They're specifically taking on complexity and figuring things out in order to preserve their privacy. So maybe another option could be just say if you're interested and let us know how you want to be contacted, and we'll just work with what works best for you.
Yeah, especially if the number isn't, like, I think the goal is like 5 interviews. Like that's not an insurmountable. Like that it would be easy, relatively easy to do one-on-one for that. So I guess, Christoph, in that world, would they just kind of react to a post in the Telegram channel?
I mean, not necessarily. You could also ask them to just contacted you in some way, so they don't even have to. No one else will know in the Telegram channel that they're actually interested in you talking to them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very good one. So it could kind of be like, because as Christoph said, these people are very privacy focused. So it might just be like they probably wouldn't even want to publicly react to this in the Telegram group. So maybe the call out is drop us a DM, drop this person a DM. So we could say like drop Mo a DM, and we'll continue the conversation there. Something very low hanging kind of. No links to set up a call, no request for emails, that kind of thing. Yeah.
What I would also, if it were me, seeing such an invitation, then one good thing would be already some form of calendar integration. Because then it's like I would click the link, I would see all the possibilities, first come, first serve, just block me something, and even possibly after that talk to you or, write in DM that after already booking, just to make it even quicker and easier. But it's interesting what tool is out there that is also not, eating all your data.
I'm also thinking about the actual text itself. Like the word research is, we have to think about the people that we're dealing with. I'm just thinking out loud. If we use the word research, then they feel we might be researching them. So maybe it's, we call on the ethos or the philosophy, and we just say, would you like to help improve the Jam UI? Drop us a DM, something like this.
Yeah, or something like your opinions matter, something very generic.
Yeah, just kind of like don't use the word research, keep it a little bit more lighthearted. And I guess the people who want to really help to improve the UI, they'll like raise their hands, they'll DM us. From the experience I had meeting people at the conference and doing interviews on Bitcoin Core, people just genuinely want to help. So if you just say, want to help improve the UI or want to help improve your user experience, drop us a DM. I don't know, something like that. And then maybe we can add in like a link for the a link underneath that. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to think how we word it to include the link to sign up for a call. Calendly is usually the link, but then they'd have to give us their email.
So if people are going to DM you or DM somebody, like say the call to action is improve, like your opinions matter, improve the Jam UI. If you're interested, send a DM to Mo. Then somebody could send a DM to you, and then you could give them a sign up link. I'm also taking these notes here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, I'll pop it in there. Although I don't know if you can edit edit a post once you, oh yeah, you can. So yeah, I'm looking, there was a few open source like Calendly alternatives. But some of them were also not really open source. Like it's interesting that they said they were, and then when you start to sign up, it's like has all these integrations. So I'm happy to play around with that and find an easy link that somebody can go and kind of self-serve, like pick a time. I guess we're jumping around a little bit, but do we have like a range of time slots that people can have so that I can punch those in? Like Mo, do you have or Mo and Eddie, I imagine both of you will be involved in this.
I'm quite flexible. I mean, ideally in European time, but if we get people from the US and it needs to be slightly later in the day, I mean, I can maybe just provide you with a range of times. Um,
Yeah, like what would be helpful is if you kind of told me like, hey, Elena, block out like Thursdays and Fridays from X time to Y time.
mhm.
That like you can use those options for the next so many weeks, and then I can like once I find a application that works, then I can punch those in. And that way it's like not connected to, because like for Calendly, a lot of those are connected to um, a Google Calendar service, which is convenient because then you can just say like pick any time in my whole calendar.
Yeah.
But if we want to work within that constraint, then like just having a set amount of time that you've blocked off is helpful.
So also sharing I think, yeah, I'll definitely do that, Elena. Elena's also been commenting on on the script as well. So we have the research plan, and Eddie had a look at it as well. The goal is to speak with 5 people. And these were the questions. Is the UI easy to understand? Is the education on what's happening, the process in the background, necessary for the user to understand? And is the overall experience trustworthy for the user? So these are kind of the questions that we're trying to understand when speaking to these people. The graphic was done by Elena. And then, sorry, I'll share this board here. I haven't shared it. This is the GitHub. I'll just drop it into the chat. Oh, Elena's already shared everything. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the GitHub, and this is the here we go. This is the research plan here. The screening questions, I guess we don't need those anymore. And then logistics and timeline. Well, kickoff call on the 7th, which we're doing right now. So we are sticking with that. And then goal is to test 5 people between the 7th of September and mid-September. Reach out with Telegram. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I guess the next step would be to work on the interview script, which I'll just share this one over here. At the moment, the interview script is non-existent. So just being really honest and open there, we definitely, that's one of the things that we need to work on. So I'm happy to kick that one off and have any help from you guys with looking at the script as well. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And then just speak to people, I guess. Yeah, I think one of the things that I learned.
Just maybe a quick question. Are we, with this 5 people or around 5 people, what I would love to see is also maybe a separation into some different levels of, knowledge, because joint market is hard to understand and hard to use. Jam is the opposite, should be the opposite, and the idea is really to make something that everyone can use. I know that's a very far-fetched goal, but nevertheless, it would be awesome to have during the interview or during the screening of people to really pick some really advanced users and to the extreme opposite, newcomers that like touched it a week ago or something like that, or 2 or 3 weeks, and just barely starting using it. Because I think insights from both worlds, both extreme sides, would be awesome to have.
So one thing that you could do, Eddie, for that, like I think generally like maybe having a goal of like, okay, we want X people from an advanced user persona or what, like, so let's say like 4 and 4 or something like that. For your advanced users, like I would just go to your Telegram group and assume that people who are in there are hacking away. One thing that you could do for the beginner users is go to other privacy-focused projects in their forums. So there's Zcash, Monero, those are like privacy focused crypto adjacent projects. That might not be a persona that you're interested in, but those are people who really, really care about privacy and have expressed some interest in money, digital currency, stuff like that. But if you have like a strong opinion in terms of like, I really want new Bitcoiners and I don't want them to use any other, like if they even touch the token, like they don't pass my purity test or whatever, then you might want to go to like Bitcoin only audiences. I don't know, different people have different preferences, but those are a few ideas in terms of how you might get that new user persona.
The community as well, like the Bitcoin design community, I think if we just post something in the general channel and just be like, want to help us, maybe the design for that would need to be different. The image for that would be different because, want to help improve, I don't know, a privacy focused tool, something along those lines, or I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but just get people from the community who've never ever used Jam, but then they are Bitcoiners. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Eddie?
Yeah, it's I'm still thinking. I mean, I would be already good and good to get everyone else from the Telegram group and try there first. What I meant by the screening was like, I mean, if we get 10 interests, right? We could screen them beforehand, and they could fill out a little questionnaire where they can put in their own knowledge and time that they used already join market separately or in combination with Jam, so we can get a little bit of an insight with whom we are dealing with, and then afterwards we could select some people. I mean, if we get only 5 interests at all, then we will take everyone we will get, right? But if we will get more, we could separate them and screen them before, just with a little questionnaire, just to get a good number of people from different level knowledge base.
Yeah, you can also just split it up into 2 rounds. Just see what you get in the first round. Realize, try to figure out where your gaps are. Did you get only new people? Did you only get intermediate or only experts or devs or whoever? And then specifically try to find those other people in the second round where you say, we're looking for this type of user. And then you can decide whether, or maybe have an idea of whether those might still be in the Telegram or whether you might have to reach out to other places.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is a good one. As opposed to doing the screening questions, we kind of just see who we get from the Telegram group. So it could kind of be like, I'm just going to write here, round 1, see who we get from the beginning, Telegram group, and then see what level they are and so on. And then maybe we'll get 5 people. And then after that, round 2 would be the gap, filling in the gap of users we did not interview. How does that sound to you, Eddie?
Sounds good.
Cool. So I'll just yes.
One thing that would be really cool, I don't know if it's even possible to do, but as part of those questions, if the last question was like, what time works best for you to set up a call, then it's like all in one step. But yeah, so I don't know if that's even possible. Also, hi, Michael. No, I remember my first Bitcoin community call. So welcome. If you need more context, let us know. Feel free to interrupt.
Feel free to jump in, Michael. You're most welcome here.
I feel like I'm going to be interrupting the flow because it looks like a whole lot of complex stuff going on.
Not at all. Not at all. Feel free to jump in, comment, introduce yourself as well. I mean, you're most welcome.
Definitely. Yeah. So my name is Michael, and I'm a motion designer based in Accra, Ghana. And I actually joined the community courtesy of Connor because I met him at the Bitcoin conference in Accra last year. And if it looks like I'm looking elsewhere, it's probably because my camera is facing in another direction. So please ignore that. Yeah, and yeah. So like I'm interested in like um the visualization of software products, particularly Bitcoin products using motion design. And yeah, so I guess it does involve some kind of like UI UX, but I'm particularly new to like all of the research and all of like the complexities behind it. So yeah, I'm just staring on. I'm just looking at what's going on. It looks like we have a very handsome member of the team here, though, Christoph.
That's not Christoph. I'm not sure who that is. So I'm not
Yeah.
actually sure who that is. I cannot be sure at this point because I cannot verify it.
Your friends, TVK here. Sorry for being late.
Hey, welcome.
Hey. So TBK is the dev on the Jam project. So just to break the ice here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Do you want to say a quick hi, TBK?
Yeah, hi there. I totally forgot the time. Sorry for being late. I don't know what has been discussed before, but I'm happy to join and happy to help in any regards. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions, or should I? Yeah, I'm Jam developer. We're trying to get out the next version. I'm totally hyped about the user journeys, and yeah, I try to do my best to help.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I feel like
Go
I feel like
ahead.
I've really interrupted, so I'll just leave you to continue and like I'll DM any questions I have.
No, you're free to talk. You don't need to DM. You can just jump in at any point.
Okay, okay, most definitely.
But one of the challenges that we had, so actually I met Eddie and TBK in Riga, and they were trying to set up the Jam UI on my computer. That was a very interesting process. It didn't work out in the end. They told me, Mo, just please get an Apple computer, but I'm using Windows at the moment. So they didn't manage to install it, but actually the plan is that I would share. This is definitely worth discussing, but I would share a link of the Jam UI. This is kind of the plan that TBK came up with. So he said he would share a link of the Jam UI, which is running on his computer, and I would observe the person using that UI, that link to that UI, and I would observe them interacting with the UI. So the TBK said he could just leave that open on his computer. He wouldn't need to be sitting behind his computer, and that person would be interacting with that link. So yeah, that might also be worth discussing, TBK, how we see that happening.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unprepared now, but I can just try to quickly send the link in here, and everybody can try to access it. For example, just to see the UI, what the user would see, basically. But if you all interact with the link together, the app wouldn't work because it's a one-time. So only one person can access it at a time. But I'm trying that, and send the link in here in a few minutes. Just to a prerequisite would be to have the Tor browser installed, so it would be a Tor link.
So you I think though you don't have to for now. It's just for the but I would try to explain it. So TBK would set up some instances where at the end there are, for example, 5 onion addresses. And I think to make everything easier, we will stick to the invitation mode that you are inviting people just on your desktop, right? And then you are in control you will see the mouth movements, etc., because otherwise it's not possible to supervise them. Because when you send out them the link, everyone is in their own machine and clicking around, and you couldn't see. So the only way to make it really quick is you are inviting every participant on your machine with TeamViewer, Geek Support, or something, I still need to think about it because it's already a tricky part, especially for privacy, sensible people. We will, but the thing is, we want to achieve something where you can see what they are clicking, right? And we would surf on that part from TBK. His instances would be the goal where the participant and also you are viewing the window. That's roughly the idea, but we still need to figure out how to do that with the possibility that you see what they are clicking and can talk to them, but also see the mouse movements.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking in terms of my own privacy, in terms of giving them access to my computer. Ideally, I'd like to give them only access to the browser link and not the rest of my computer. So
yeah, totally, absolutely.
So definitely want to figure that one out.
So sorry, and why not just do a screen share?
Also fine, but
I would suggest the same.
Yeah, I mean okay. You're completely right. I'm coming from the idea that it's running on most computers. Still from that idea. Yeah, you're right. The people who you are interviewing, they are connected, for example, in Jitsi, and they need to have a Tor browser installed, and they will get the link and they will screen share, so Mo can see basically everything without inviting them to the computer. Yeah,
I like that one.
So I think that would work for the advanced users. I think for first-time users, if there's kind of a friction of like, oh, have you ever used Tor before, or do you need help downloading that? Like that could be something in the screening questions, so that because I can anticipate that if it's a very, very new user, you might spend 30 minutes alone, like trying to navigate them just to get set up. I believe that was a little bit of why the idea of having it on Mo's computer came about in the first place, because like you've already gone through all the initial setup process, and so then somebody could just kind of remote access your laptop and move around. But yeah, I think understanding kind of how much setting up friction you want to manage ahead of the call is helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. Like TBK, you installed the browser on my computer when we were in Riga, and I didn't quite see how quick that was, but it felt quite quick installing the Tor browser. It was like 15 seconds. But I guess it is true, you're asking someone to install something to do the testing process with you. So that's, it's definitely something to think about. Just maybe raise that before the interview is actually done with the person and ask them if they're comfortable. Just be like, hey, it's a privacy-focused browser. It's called Tor. Have a look. Let us know if you feel comfortable installing it before the call. And if they're cool with that, then we just, it's all good. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, basically, the Tor browser is just a modified version of Firefox. So if they're a Firefox user, then they will be comfortable with it. You can download it from the Tor website, which is just another exe file if they're using Windows, basically. Yeah, but it is more difficult than like just visiting a normal website. That's for sure. So we have to be creative when it comes to the actual setup. Yeah.
I feel like there might be a necessary testing process. Just, run a test session between one of any of us on this call. Just do a test session, see how it would look like. Ask someone who doesn't have Tor, install it, and let's see how the Onion link works. On that person's computer, how they share it. Just get a little bit of practice before actually doing this with real people. So, Elena, you're smiling.
I guess I'm just thinking only with the fake people on the call right now, before we do it with real people. That's why I was laughing. I'm doing the downloading the browser right now, and so I can tell you exactly how long it'll take me. So that's another reason why I'm smiling.
Cool. So yeah, is there anything else that we might need to think about? So it's doing a test run with a Tor browser for people who are not familiar with it, creating the user script, and tweaking the invitation, the image to call of participants. Usually for me, I've never really used a Calendly link. I don't know. I kind of keep things very, very flexible, and I just first ask the person what time zone they're in. And then I send over some times based on their time zone, because if it's just 5 people, I manage to do that quite quickly, which prevents them from giving us their email address, because I don't know, people, if this is a privacy focused application that we're working with, then maybe people don't want to give their email addresses. They want to remain as private as possible. So yeah, be anonymous as possible. So yeah, maybe we can think through that one. Just tweak the image, the design image, and then just say, hey, DM this person. I don't know if it's better if Eddie posts it in the group, or if I post it, because maybe if I post it, I come across as a random person posting it in the group, or maybe Eddie, it might be, maybe you do an introduction and then I post in the group. So
yeah, we do it both.
Yeah, definitely. Christoph has a good point. This will make a really good write-up on doing privacy-sensitive research. Yeah, this is definitely, I've not been involved in a project before where the UI that I'm dealing with is with such a privacy-focused audience, and really having to think around that, and having to think around how do we make that person comfortable with speaking with us, which is, yeah. I mean, we had that with Bitcoin Core interviews a bit, but this is definitely one step above that. So yeah, definitely, it's a good point that Christoph made. Privacy sensitive. Yeah, this is very, very privacy sensitive. Yeah.
I have to jump to another call soon, but the only thing that I'm not clear on is the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wanted to do a test, I'm happy to be a test subject, because I was able to successfully download the Tor browser. I'm on a Mac computer. And so now I have the link that TVK shared.
Mm-hmm.
So I can record my screen and just show okay, this is how I'm using it. But that might be something we can schedule next week.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that with you on Monday. And then if that works for you as well. And then between now and sort of Wednesday next week, we work on the script. We get the script finished. We get the image, the call out image kind of finished by the end of next week. So script next week, image next week. And then the week after that, we're jumping into the Telegram group. Hey guys, hey privacy guys, we're here, help us improve the Jam UI kind of thing. So kind of maybe end of next week, we look at testing out the Onion link on your computer, the research script, the interview script, and then the image, kind of focus on wrapping those up end of next week. And then the week after that, jump into this Telegram group and hope that the privacy folks raise their hands and want to speak with us. How does that sound?
That works.
Yep.
And then is the primary idea, Mo, that we don't use a scheduling link because you would be the primary person?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think we don't use a scheduling link. We try to just keep people as anonymous as possible and keep it as personal as possible. And maybe an intro from Eddie or TBK, like, hey guys, this is Mo. She's from the Bitcoin design community. We're trying to improve the UI of Jam. Please, like she's normal. You can trust her. Please feel free to speak to her. I think it would carry a bit more weight if Eddie or TBK introduces me before I just randomly post in the group.
Yeah. She's not an avatar like Christoph. She's a human.
Yeah, I'm real. I'm not here to get any private information from you. But yeah, it's definitely a unique use case, this one. So yeah. And if Eddie, if you can do that introduction, obviously, like I think maybe beginning next week once everything's ready. And then just get people to hopefully DM me if hopefully that's going to work. I've never done something like this before, so it's also definitely a testing process for me, to be honest.
Yep.
Ooh. All right. Cheers, Elena. But yeah, I guess we can also, wrap it up as well. Thank you for joining, Elena. Is there anything that we missed or anything that comes to mind? I mean, feel free to speak, everyone, because yeah.
No, I think I'm fine with what we have already. Yeah, perfect. Yo, TBK.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the link in here is just valid if my computer is running. So before maybe you tell me when you have another session or when you want to try it out, especially when the interviews are, or I come up with a better setup to have all the links work all the time. But we can discuss this the next session, I guess.
I have one thought on this. Maybe you show me how to make it run also open with Tor, because for the interview, it's, I think, for the routine, it's nice to, have in it the container. Then they will, set up the first wallet, and afterwards reset it and make the Satoshi wallet the default, so they actually see test coins and can initiate coin join, and then you can mine. So basically I would be in the background controlling the instance, or there is a way to make it run on your machine and I can control it from here. I don't know. Or we will do everything on my side.
We can discuss this after the call. Yeah, how the
cool.
best setup would look like. Yeah, I was browsing the links you shared when the meeting started. Like the interview questions and the script is not yet finished, right?
No.
No. Okay, that would be also interesting. Like what the task would be for basically the different personas, or how they would like to use
This
Jam.
is a very good one. What do you what tasks should we set the people to complete during the testing process, Eddie?
So starting freshly with an onboarding process, going through the onboarding slides, creating the first wallet, and arriving at the home screen. Then cut, and also tell the person to receive to make every step needed to receive something, the first funding. Then we will also preview that and say, okay, you actually will not receive something but at this point we will cut and initiate an already preloaded wallet, so that the person logs out, refreshes the browser, and boom, suddenly he has a wallet to punch in a password. From that point on, he will have 150 Bitcoins already in one jar. And the next task would be make a coin join, make a, I don't know, we have like send to yourself, create a fidelity bond if we want to go that route, start earning and, sweeping. There are a lot of functions that we could test. We could also, mix different people, different tasks. And then that's basically it. Because afterwards there's nothing to do, then let's say waiting. In the background, I would simulate. For example, sending to themselves in a different jar is one of the main tasks. This is something I could simulate, so that they will see that something moved from one jar to another, and maybe that's already more than enough to tell them that they successfully did a coin join or a collaborative transaction. Yeah. Maybe everything else is just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
So we basically also have like a cheat sheet at the bottom of the page, which is a 6-step program that you should follow and then repeat it from the first step. So maybe that can be some kind of role model for what might be interesting on how users do on the cheat sheet program, basically.
Question: is the fidelity bond, is that more of it's probably not a first time user thing. This is probably someone does this when they're already comfortable. They're okay locking up their Bitcoin for some time because they trust the system. They've kind of felt it out. Is that more of seems like you test it with specific types of users?
I think so too. It's way too prominent in the UI, basically, currently. But that's for you guys to figure out. But yeah, I think that's an expert step, right?
Yeah. Okay. But would it be reasonable to say, like, the task that we set is, hey, onboard yourself, set yourself up to receive some funding, and send to yourself in a different jar? Does that kind of sound like a reasonable?
That's already good. Yeah, that's already reasonable. I think for every persona and every
so kind of be
skill
like,
set.
How you would.
Because it's also the first workflow after receiving what we will simulate. It is the next step to do to like set the ground for everything else. Because creating a fidelity bond is based on this sending to yourself.
Yeah.
And start earning is also based on sending to yourself.
Cool. So that could be the task that we're focusing on with these.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah. All right. So we'll just make sure that the script kind of leans into these tasks over here, the onboarding process. And I know you mentioned that the education in the onboarding process is also very important. Is the education understandable?
The education is during the whole software. At every step of the way, we did it until this point, had to explain the section and the step, and that's exactly what we need to know. Is it too much? Is it too less? Does the user feel comfortable to use it at this moment of time by consuming what he actually can see and learned up to this point? That's what I meant with this educational information.
So it feels definitely.
Is it enough?
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Eddie. Go ahead. I think Eddie might, or I'm frozen, or Eddie is frozen.
I still see and hear you. You're not frozen.
Yeah, Eddie's gone.
All right. Okay. But yeah, that's super helpful. I'll just add this as a note here. So it's mainly focusing on trust, and it's mainly focusing on, so it's kind of two buckets of trust and education, and then this would be the task that we're getting people to complete. And while they're completing this task, the two things that we're looking for is how much do they trust this? Do they feel there's enough education?
Yeah, the education, you can probably split it up in a few things. There's one is, do they understand the core concepts? Do they understand what a jar means? Do they understand how the Bitcoin move and across jars and what that does? And then there's the other one. It's which is a little bit independent. Do they know how to do stuff? Because it could be a thing where I don't care about how the jars work, but I know to press those two buttons, and then my safety is better. And there might be other subcategories, because there might be some people that really want to understand everything. There might be other people, they just want to do stuff. And if they get the right feedback, like a big green checkbox or something, they're happy. There are probably different characters in there. But I think education leads to trust, because you understand things, the thing reacts in the way that you expect it to. You do it a few times, you get the results that are expected, and then you trust it more.
Sorry, I dropped out.
Yeah, no, Christoph mentioned an interesting point. So I made a note here. He said education leads to trust, which this makes a lot of sense. Education and trust are not really two separate buckets, because if they trust, if they feel sufficiently educated with understanding the core concepts, understanding how the jars work, then they trust the UI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe also one thing that came up is what is afterwards, when they used it or already are experienced in the software, what is Jam or Join Market in the eyes for the user? So is it just a tool? Should it be like the main wallet or something like that? That's also interesting. Maybe they have already some flows, these users, where they say, okay, I'm always buying at KYC coins here, and I'm going through Jam, and then it's landing on my cold storage, for example. That's how I use the software. So that's the main question. How do you use the software, and for what reason? Maybe also just all these introduction, background information questions.
Yep, this is good. This is really useful. It's going to really be helpful with creating the script. So yeah, this is definitely very, very useful. Yeah, this was super helpful. It's good that we didn't actually create the script before this call. And now going into creating the script, this is some good things to work with when creating the script. So I'll really work on creating the script, and then doing a test call with Elena, and then we tweak the image. And yeah, let's do this thing. This is this is going to be a very interesting one. I'll just add this as a comment. Cool. Yeah, thanks everyone. I don't know if there's anything else to add. We just have 3 more minutes to go. Exactly. Let's do this thing, guys. Let's do this privacy-focused research challenge. It's gonna be really interesting. Definitely one for the books. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mo. Yeah.
No, thank you guys for trusting us as the community to kick off the sprint.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
All
Talk to
right.
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye, guys. Bye.